Okay, so we've not done anything crazy. In case you are watching this, I'm just trying to um give a big overview or correction, just like me supervising or giving some directives on the assignments given. So we're we are just about doing this, nothing crazy. So now let's move. We are in the third paragraph already. So I can already see this one. This damage disrupts the normal flow of the nerve signals, leading to a wide range of symptoms such as fatigue, mobility difficulties. Okay. Now, now is okay. From this place, everything I understand what ALS and MS means now. Okay, now let's move on. So now let's continue. She said ALS is the most prevalent neurogenetic condition and it is most commonly seen in men. Okay, she referenced it here. Multiple sclerosis and the other affects mostly women and was initially considered untreatable. Okay, this paper sick. Now I've gotten big background, right? So now this rationale for for treating for treating for for writing this paper. Why I'm writing this paper? Because it is common in men. It is one of the issues facing the public, right? So, and I would say this is the rationale of writing the research paper. So now, what is the paper trying to do? The paper is trying to analyze the pathophysiology and it's trying to analyze the progression. It's trying to analyze the treatment of ALS and multiple sclerosis. Additionally, this review highlights some of the remaining challenges. Okay, now this is actually very good. If I should give it a mark, right? I don't want you to say to get it mark, but I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I understand a little bit, and if this is the first introduction in the writing, I think there is room for improvement. So the first correction I'll be making here is, remember yesterday when I was saying, I said we have some pillars that actually guide introduction. So I actually have enough background information. That's number one. Then number two, I've gotten the rationale. I can see your WhatsApp message. I'm using two screens. So I can see the rationale of uh, this paper, this research paper is not full enough. It's not because now okay, it is commonly seen in men and this is commonly seen in women. So because it's commonly seen in men, how is that our own concern? As it I don't know, it is our concern, right? But how is it a major issue facing the public? How many people are suffering from this? There's no statistic to back um commonly seen in men. And there's no statistic to back how many people are suffered from this disease, how many people are suffering in this current year, how many people have died as a result of this disease. We cannot just use this one to say there are a lot of pressing issues. So why do you think ALS and multiple sclerosis? Now imagine I'm trying to sponsor this research paper. I'm trying to sponsor this research. Sorry, I want to grant you. I want to uh, give you a grant to to further this research. Now you said it is commonly seen in men. Accepted. It's commonly seen. It affects mostly women. Accepted. But why do you think I should put thousands of dollars to further this research if it is not a present issue facing the public? I mean, there are a lot of diseases facing the public. So I do not have a good rationale. That's number one. So I can also see the topic of this thing. Our topic is pathophysiology, right? That is the pathologic, the disease physiology. We all know what physiology is now. Um, the internal function of let just say let me just break it down in case you know the physiology. Physiology is not like how do I say it? Everything is physiology. The function, or let me just say the life cycle. I think let me just put it like that. The disease life cycle, then basically that's what I call physiology. So that's part of physiology. We have our progression, that is how it's the development of the disease, then you have our treatment. But this what do we say? This thing, this introduction, I don't have any glimpse of pathophysiology, nor progression, nor prognosis of ALS or multiple sclerosis. I think there is a way you can fit in, even though you will not be spinning all the thing, but you can spin in something. Okay, I'm trying to do this thing, I'm trying to do this thing, you know. So, and okay, you said this paper seek to analyze this one. How are you trying to how are you trying to effect this particular how are you trying to carry out this particular research? Is it through review? Okay, the review highlight of some sorry. Let me check the topic again. A comparative analysis. Okay, obviously it is comparative analysis. So how are you trying to do the analysis? Obviously, you will be using several studies. Then probably you will be working in the lab too because it's comparative study. Comparative study is just you are comparing other results, other people's results with your own results, right? So I don't see how you are going to achieve your research is not included in this particular introduction also. So additionally, the review highlights some of the remaining challenges. Okay, this is what we are trying to achieve in the understanding and management of ALS and to get the clinician. Okay, if we actually what okay, how is this going to help science? If you highlight this thing, how is it going to help science? I think that's one of the best thing you can add. You can just add if successfully implemented, or all those stuff, if successfully implemented, this would change the stuff. All those adas are what they call it, all the suffix you need to add. You just need to add it because every time you are writing, you have to think about people that are trying to sponsor it. You have to read in their point of view also. But overall, this is actually a good a good write-up. So thank you so much, Alina. Is she on the call? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, noted. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now let's see where the other one. Okay. Um, this starts. Living with ALS, to define life beyond diagnosis. Hmm. Okay, that is basically this is just like people that are living with ALS. How do they redefine their life beyond diagnosis? Okay, life after being diagnosed with ALS. Okay, now let's go. ALS, commonly referred to as Lou Gehrig disease in the United States, is a neurodegenerative disease involving death of the. Okay, now from this one, I got a little bit of background information, right? So it causes weakness of the muscles. Right, this is also background information, resulting in the muscle weakness and total paralysis. Okay, good, good. This line, I got background information. ALS is not contagious, but there's some grammatical error. Its symptoms. Okay, sorry, I'm the one that knows the. Its symptoms are catastrophic. Wow, good. It affects a relatively small number of people, estimated to be around two in every 100 individual. Now, this statistic, which is very very important. Now, I like this one. Now, even after I've gotten some overview, right? Overview. Then I can now see symptoms are catastrophic. Now I'm interested because the it is not contagious and the symptoms are catastrophic. So there is high probability that people that have this they will die. But now I have it affects a relatively small number of people, around two in every 100,000 individual. So that's quite small. I will not put my 100,000 grants on it. But yeah, that's actually good though, because but now, one thing I will first, one of my correction will be two in every 100,000 individual. You as a person, there is no way you will know this except you saw it uh, in a research paper. So you have to add a reference here because the statistics here. You are in your room, you don't even know how many people are suffering from this particular disease. So when you write two in every 100 individual, you have to reference the paper you are getting it from. So that's number one correction. The low prevalence is due to short life expectancy of affected individuals. Now it's getting interesting. Now I didn't know that the rationale of writing this paper is because people that suffer from this disease, there's high probability that they will have short life expectancy. Short life expectancy. Okay. Uh, ALS affects a vast majority of population of just over 40 years old. Okay, there should be reference also. The two causal effects remain unknown, but 10% of are familiar name, while 90% are sporadic with genetic predisposition. Okay, now I got background information to back it up. I'm interested with the first paragraph. Okay, now let's move on. Many studies focus on the depressing, life-altering nature. Remember, we are trying to redefine life after diagnosis, right? So he said many studies focus on the depressing, life-altering nature of ALS, how rapidly it progress, and ultimately each death of the affected. Okay, so we have to. Well, you need to reference because he said many studies. So you need to reference all the many studies. So in quotation mark. So we have but life even after exit after this paper and this paper explore. Now I can see the hope. You can see this is what I was trying to say. The first person that I will do that. You can see even after the topic is about life after the defining life beyond diagnosis. So she in a way she plotted what the paper is trying to do. I can see after diagnosis, life after exit, and this paper explore. And okay, I mean, this is actually very good. Eventually prolonging life. In the past, even before ALS patients reached stage where they were no longer able to interact with the world, they often could not communicate except by blinking their eyes to indicate a yes or no. About a decade back, technology aids communication. I think you are spilling a lot of tea in introduction actually, but yeah, it's fine. People with ALS were then able to read, write, and speak. You're spilling a lot of tea. Okay, for medical treatment to symptomatic treatment, treatment options for ALS have significantly improved over the past decades, and currently several clinical trials, including those focused on gene-specific therapy, are being carried out. Hence, all of our numbers. Okay, this second paragraph, I have some doubts with it, right? It's not like it's wrong in any way, but I just have some doubts with it. One, I love the first paragraph, right? But this one, I can see the first line. I enjoy it because at least I got what you're trying to. You linked it with your topic, and I got some stuff. So we continue here. For life after diagnosis exists actually, and this paper explore how can continue to thrive post diagnosis with the help of emerging therapy that study eventually producing prolonging life to stop. So in the past, now this one now should be in the body. This one should be in the body. I think you are spinning a lot of things there. So you are trying to avoid. We've already linked it. Now that you've linked what you are trying to do, how are we trying to achieve this particular paper? But because this paper is not something you carried out, so you just this paper is trying to explore and you study it. I just feel like you can just put a full stop on. Let me count the number of lines. You already took 10 already, took 10 words. So most times, introduction is usually 250 words, 300 words. So, and already you already took 10. So if you could just do some finishing, this paper explores this particular thing and, um, you can just like You can just add some stuff, just try to back it up and write the concluding statement instead of spinning the whole thing in the introduction. There are still a lot of sections you need to write on. But this is actually a solid over 8 over 10 for me. I mean, share the phone.
Yes, I am having.
Hello, Alina. You have any question or any additional stuff you want to ask? Anything?
No, I
But
want
it's
to go.
actually very good. What do you
Thank
say?
you. So regarding the referencing, I was trying to change the insights. Is it in text citation, right, to numbers, but it kept giving it instead as the author thing. So which particular reference styles gives numbers? Because I tried APA and MLA, but it instead. Maybe MA.
Wait. Well, I not complain anything. I not actually add any complaint about the reference. So it depends on the journal you are trying to submit to. Each journal has their own tradition. Let's say the name of my journal is Shitu's journal. So I'm saying that anybody that will be submitting paper or manuscript, we call it manuscript, anybody that will be submitting manuscript in my own journal, the reference or the reference has to be in Vancouver style, right? So you can have your own journal and say anybody that's submitting paper or manuscript in your journal should be in IE style. Another one can be in MLA style. So even though this be it MLA, be it APA or whatever, it's still normal. The one they are using square brackets, it is called IEEE. And it's not necessarily you are using that one, the one with numbering system. But this one too are very, very normal. It's just a type of what do you call it? It's a um, type of definition that can be very good. Okay, so now let's move to what we have for us today. Do anybody has any question? Even though a lot of people begged me that they will not be having that I should extend the submission deadline. Though I will still be adding more assignments to do. So I don't know how they want to do it. But it's very good. It's very good. Uh, we you submit, you do your assignments, even though you be backlashed in quotation mark. I'm not a bad person, honestly. I mean, I'm not perfect person, so but even though you don't let me say backlash, but you'll be corrected. Don't let it hold you down. There's no perfect, and there's nobody perfect, and there's always a starting point. Nobody's perfect, and there's always a starting point. So let's move to what we have for us today. We just have 30 minutes more to round up discuss. So um today we'll be moving on to um how to okay. This is actually what we ought to start with yesterday. But unfortunately, it slipped my mind and I did not even look at the roadmap I was following. So let me just take it. Actually, we all know that comment the set paper start with abstract, right? After then we will be doing introduction. But the first thing you'll be asking you should be why are we starting with introduction, not right introduction, and not why are we starting with abstract? So I believe abstract should be the last thing you should be writing. Why? Abstract is the general overview of everything you're writing. So that's now writing introduction, you know what is supposed to be in introduction. Let's say for example, you're writing a commentary research paper. So after introduction, we have body. Then after body, we have conclusion. So you know what you are trying to write in your introduction. You know what you are trying to write in your body. You know what you are trying to. You know your concluding aspects. So in this particular case, it's very easy. You know all the whole thing. Right. So you just want to write abstract based on everything. You want to summarize everything that you are doing in the whole paper. And that's what we call abstract. So that's what we'll be treating at the last stage. After when we are done with introduction, we move to several aspects of the research paper. So now let's continue. So how to conceptualize a research topic, which is what I was trying to say before before I got started. So this topic is very, very easy to conceptualize. It's not very easy actually, but when you have research interest in mind, let's say I, for example, I love bioinformatics. I love everything that deal with AI, all the type of AI from uh, what do you call it? Conventional machine learning to advanced machine learning to LLM to Gen AI to NLP to computer vision, all those things. I love anything with AI in medicine. I love bioinformatics. I love computer and drug discovery. I have my own research interest. So I want this to be as practical as possible. So I just want to go to my Google Scholar. That will be the first thing. Let's say I'm trying to write the paper, but I don't even have any suggestion in mind. I don't know what to write about. So I just want to log in. I want to go to my Google Scholar. It's loading already. So I have to start speaking on my research interests by substituting. Okay. I'm sorry, just to repeat. Hello. Okay. So now that I've loaded it, right, the first thing is if you want to write something, you want to start something about the paper, and you don't have any topic. So there are some keywords that we usually use. So you want to use promising results. So when you use promising, sorry, promising, when you use something like promising results or promising approach, promising strategy, or promising alternative, if you use any of these keywords, there's a probability that you will see something we call research gaps. So every research has a research gap. You cannot be done with everything. Now, this particular the one we reviewed now, okay, they've done everything about ALS. They've done the consequences, life after ALS, the consequences, the development, pathophysiology, the prognosis, the treatment, everything. They've done everything about ALS. But in this case, we still have the defining life beyond diagnosis. Okay, after you have been diagnosed, how do you survive? That is still another research gap. There is always research gap. But in real sense, there is always research gap stated in review research paper and also in original research paper. I told us what review research paper is and what original research paper is the first class. So review research paper is how do I explain? Review research paper is a type of original research paper, but not exactly. It's not like a comparative analysis, the one I said the other time. So why original paper is the one you are doing in the lab and the wet lab, or you are giving out what do you call it, pamphlets. This, what do they call this thing? Questionnaire. They are giving out questionnaire and stuff like that. So those are very, very easy. These are original results. Original, sorry, I'm overworked. That's original research paper. So now when you use these keywords, promising results, promising approach, preliminary results, you get to see research gap. Now let's say promising results. Because we talked about PCOS yesterday, so I just search it up. Now let's just use promising results, PCOS. So I want to, I'm telling you, the first thing you want to do when you log into your Google Scholar is you want to custom range. You don't want to use paper that are old. So let's start now. You want to use paper that are old. I can see this one is 2020, this is 2023. So there is high probability that all of them are still up to date, right? So let me just click on this first one. So now we can see this is a review type of paper. So I told us that to get your research gap, you should check for review research paper or original research paper. So I can already see this is a review research paper, and I'm very happy with it. This is one type of paper we are trying to do. So how do we now get uh, our our research gap? So the first thing is I don't know much about PCOS, right? But let's look at this thing. Let's look at their introduction. So let's say this is still how to learn. You have to read to learn. So let's just analyze their introduction. The first thing they gave us is a wide scale and they find affecting about 15% of women in their reproductive age in their fertility. That is, it is affecting 5 to 15% women in their reproductive age. This is just like a background information. Okay, what is this for? What is the topic? The chronic inflammation history of the benefit of SPMs in the prevent. Okay, this is another type of therapy in improvement of PCOS. Okay. Okay. So they gave us, I mean, the statistic of people being affected with PCOS. Then you can see diagnosis according to international guidelines that apply Rotterdam. I think this is a this should be a therapeutic technique. Criteria require the presence of at least two of the following feature hyper. Okay, I'm so sorry. I will not be able to analyze this. I'm lost. I don't understand. But it is actually very easy because I can actually see this it's therapeutic measure, a criteria. Rotterdam, I think Rotterdam, I've heard about that Rotterdam before. Should be, I don't know. Oh, sorry, I read about program. But Rotterdam should be like a drug or something like that, sir. So let's say before you can use this Rotterdam, you have to have hyperandrogenism or you have to be suffering from ovary dysfunction or PCOS has been confirmed in ultrasonic scans, while other pathologies must be excluded. Okay, PCOS is further characterized with LHFSH ratio, that is the luteinizing hormone or the follicle stimulating hormone. They have to be elevated, right? Obesity, insulin resistance leading to hyperinsulinemia. Okay, so this is just like they are giving us background information about the pathophysiology of PCOS. And this, I told us that we need relevant pathophysiology. They are giving us relevant pathophysiology um about what they call it PCOS. So because they are trying to provide the new therapeutic measure, the first thing they start with the pathophysiology and what they were using for this program before they can be used, they told us all the criteria that has to be met. Okay, so the etiology, that is the causes of this disease, has not been clarified completely yet. Now, this is a research camp. The etiology, the causes has not been completely researched. Sorry, the causes of this syndrome, that is the causes of PCOS, has not been clarified completely yet. So that's a research gap, but you cannot see research gap in introduction. So that will not count as a research gap. So certain genetic pattern, for example. So basically, they were just trying to tell us about background information, and I'm just trying. I cannot get to everything. We have less time. So postnatal lifestyle. So now they give us a pathophysiology and they give us the progression of the disease also. In fact, hyperinsulinemia, okay, BMI, we have all this. Um, Obesity and this not only reinforce insulin resistance, Well, I've not seen the experience, so I don't even know what it means. Probably they have slot it in a line here, which I could not factor. I could not figure out. That's why you should, it should be something around your food. Let's just go to the last section. You can only see research gap in the last section. There will always be something we can see we have potential new treatment option. Is usually the last section. This is the last outline, 7. I think after this should be conclusion. Is it that you see the research gap in the last last paragraph, last outline before the conclusion, or you see the research gap in the conclusion. So now let's start from the outline. So let's see if we can see anything. Let's see. Okay. I don't seem to have a lot of information about that. Okay, I think we actually have something here to date, which is it is the same thing here. It's the same paper. Can you see? It's the same paper. So this is a research gap. We have to date. There is no information available on the abundance and action of SPMs. Even though these particular people, these particular researchers, they've talked a lot about how SPMs can help in PCOS, in the treatment of PCOS. But they said there's no information available on the abundance and action of SPMs. So we now have there's abundance of SPMs. There's no information about that. There's no information about MOA, that's mechanism of action of SPMs, and their precursors in PCOS. So now this is a research gap. This particular information right here is a research gap. So you can just Control C, Control V into your own stuff, Control V here. So we can identify this one as the research gap. So how can you bring out a topic in this one? So you already know that, okay, I've seen a lot of information. I've seen some, what do you call it? I've seen a paper that did not have abundance and mechanism of action on SPMs and their cursor in SPMs. So you as a researcher, you can just be like, okay, I want to write on mechanism of action on mechanism of action of SPMs. And that's how you create your own research topic and what to actually work on. So that's one. Now let's try to set another paper, another review set paper. Now let's go to something I'm familiar with. I'm not really familiar with everything there. So let me just go to my Google Scholar. I'm not really familiar with PCOS and that as well. So let's just go to antimicrobial resistance. I think everyone should be familiar with that one. The first thing I want to do, I want to write promising results. Um, in this case, I want to go with antimicrobial resistance. Resistance. So when I use promising results, there's a probability that I will get a review type of paper or original research paper. And that's why I'm using the keyword. So, mm, okay, let's go with this. Now let's go with this. I think I love this. Let's change it to 5. Okay. We are the philosophers. Yes. Okay. We are the philosophers. Let's check this. Okay. My network is so slow. Okay. Okay, let me just, I think I have some paper downloaded here. Let's just look through this one, why it is being downloaded, why this one is loading. So hold on, then you have cancel this thing. Um, anyway, I thought something. Okay, can someone share their screen? Is anyone on their laptop? Is anyone on their laptop? Can you share your screen, please? Okay, let me use my phone then. So I'll connect my phone now. I think the network is super slow. Okay. So let me use my phone. I guess you can all see my screen, right? Okay. So the first thing I want to do here is promising results on sorry on antimicrobial resistance.
So we have stuff like this. So let me check anything. Then now let's just look at this. So I don't have the full I don't have the full access to this paper. So now let's just look at other one. Mm, let me see which one. I'm sorry, I don't have the full permission. I don't have the full authority on this papers, so that's why I'm canceling them. Okay. Okay. Okay, can anyone suggest any any disease for me so I can explore? Anyone? Okay, she said none again. Okay, I don't have full access to this one. I don't have full access to any of that. I'm sorry, can you suggest another one? Sorry. I don't think I have full access to anything in Malaga Day. Let me just think about something. Infectious disease. Why is everything locked? Okay, let me just. Oh, okay, I'm supposed to press them. Wow. Anyway, you can see something here. Okay. So this, what type of paper is this? This is a review type of paper. So the first thing I want to check is, I want to check, it is either I have the research gap on the last outline or on the conclusion outline. So now let's go. Sorry, what's the topic again? Nanotechnology as a promising approach to combat MDR, a comprehensive review and future perspective. Okay, now let's move on. I'm going to the concluding outline. So I have my conclusion and future perspective. Because I have my conclusion and future perspective. Future perspective means like, okay, that's the further um information for other researcher. So there's hypothesis that I will be seeing my research gap in this particular place. Now we have the emergence and growth of MDR bacteria are shown to be a serious health issue that must be managed on a global scale. Okay, to treat persistent MDR platonic stuff outside the box, optimization of their physical character, particularly size and surface charge, is essential to maximize their curative potential and decrease host. Okay. Clinical use is currently limited by issues concerning the. Now, that's one thing. They said clinical use is currently limited by issues concerning the long-term effects of uh, of nanoparticles on the person and systemic safety. That's actually one research gap. That is, they said their clinical laboratory is limited um, to carry out the research extensive research on long-term effects of nanoparticle on the person and system safety. So in case you are actually interested in doing stuff like this, so you can actually say, okay, this is a research gap, and you can actually develop your own research topic. So when you develop your own research topic, this will guide you through. So it's not just that you are writing an essay. So you know the research gap, you know what's you know how to improve science, basically how to innovate new stuff in science. But in this case, because we do not have any access to lab, so you will not be using any of these. But in case you are trying to write final year project, you need to sit down with your area of interest. If you are allowed to pick a topic for yourself, you need to sit down with your area of interest, look at every review paper or a lot of review paper, so you can actually map out your um research topic. So that's one of the research topics. So now let's look at another one. Moreover, metabolic toxicity, stability issue, and mechanism explanation on the gene level show that the MP effect on the gene expression should be explained in detail in future study. That's another thing. So you can actually still um, talk about the metabolism, toxicity, stability issue, and mechanism of action on gene level, on the effect of MP on gene expression. I don't really understand, but I feel like there is more work to. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Hello, hello, can anyone hear me? Please unmute your mic so I can hear you. Okay, thank you. So, uh, So that's actually how to you can write on metabolism, toxicity, stability issue, and mechanism. You can write on that one too. So we also have additionally the exact and detailed mechanism of interaction with MP should be explained in future trials. That's another what do you call it? That's another research gap. So when you see something like this, you can see a whole lot of research gaps there. You can see a whole lot of research papers you can write in this particular study, particular paper, research paper. And that's why we say you don't need to crack your head to know what research you are trying to the research you are trying to write about. So you just need to identify the research gap, try to identify the research gap and build on it. You understand? So basically that's how research gap work. Do you understand? Let me start. I want to hear everyone's voice. I don't know why you guys are are kind of cold tonight. I will start with you, Anisat. Do you understand what we've just learned today?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Can you recognize research gap in any paper now?
I think if I try, I should be able to an extent.
Okay. What about Alima? Alima Professor. Do you understand what research gap means? Mean now?
Yeah, I do.
Great. Okay. Precious Sokunwa. Do you know how to conceptualize a research topic now? Precious. Okay. Sophia, are you with us? Do you know how to conceptualize a research topic now?
I believe I have an idea.
Okay, research idea. Now, Migi Adeyan, do you think you can um you can conceptualize a research topic by identifying research gap in a review paper?
Yeah, I can to some extent.
Okay, so now let me try to join with my laptop again. So so that will be the last part of today's work.
Okay. So, oh, great. Thank you, Precious. Now let's see. We have this is our what do you call it? This is a research gap. Okay, I want to form a topic. How do I form a topic? How do I form research topic in this? in this particular thing. So if you can't form any topic, you can just copy this one now. Just copy this one, Control C. There's a lot of AI to help. You can just go on your Google search, I think ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT. Okay. You can just search something like this, list, then commentary, research topic, commentary, research topic, using question on this research term. Okay. Why is my laptop network slow now? Focusing on okay. So we have some suggestion here. Profiling, circulating, all this one. That looks complex. So you can just take anything here. You can modify stuff with your hand. So the role of teaching reproductive and let's say this one is all you're trying to do. You can just do this one. You can modify it, you know, just to get an idea. You can do stuff like this, and then using this particular thing, you can get something like this contribution. The role of SPM in PCOS associated of cardiometabolic risk, between reproductive and systemic inflammation. Okay. It depends on what you are trying to work on, what you are trying to focus on your research. That's how you that's how to conceptualize a research topic. Actually, it's a work in progress. It's not something you should have an idea, overall idea. So you will be the one that will build it. So the next assignment I will be giving out will be identify 5 research gaps and conceptualize each topic. So it will be something like this on each gap. So it will be something like this. You will just indicate like this. So let's say research gap. So this is the research gap. You put the obviously there will be influence. So I can trace it. So then you now write the topic, the research topic. So you form your own research topic here. So you will do that in 5 for 5 different papers. So that would be the assignment. So next time that we are meeting, everyone should submit. And in case you have begged or you've requested for extension of time and for today's submission, please try to comply before next week, Saturday. Okay. I think that will be a good night message. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.